I'm really beginning to hate doctors. Anyway, all kidding aside, who can't love doctors? But is too much of a good thing a bad thing? Well, in this case, I'm beginning to think so. Anyway, if you're still here, you probably already figured out this is going to be kind of a random vloggy kind of thing. So if you don't want to stick around because we're really not going to talk about tech stuff, well, actually we are, but just not the tech stuff you're used to on this channel, feel free. I promised you I would update you on what's going on and why I haven't posted anything in the last week and a half. So here we are. Before I do, however, I'm going to switch over and let you check out that I am now at plus 10,000 subs. I want to say thank you very much. The fact that you're here and you want to hear what I have to say really makes me happy. And I will try to do my best and keep the videos rolling. It was kind of crazy the last couple of weeks, and I'm going to get into that and explain what was going on. TLDR, let me just put it to you this way. I had many doctor's appointments and many tests over the last couple of weeks, and it was exhausting and it sucked, and that's why I didn't post anything on YouTube. You still here? All right, well, let's get into the nitty-gritty. So yeah, I was feeling pretty crappy the last 2 weeks, and I now literally have, I believe, 4 cardiologists. I'm feeling very privileged, you know? I don't know. It feels like, wow, all these doctors taking care of me. What am I supposed to think? It's exhausting, let me tell you. They all want to run tests. They all ask the exact same questions, but it always goes in a particular order, so I know all the answers. I literally could record it. My sister suggested, why don't you just record the answers to all your questions and then just play it back while they're asking the questions. The nurse comes in, asks the same exact questions. Doctor comes in, well, actually, then usually a PA comes in. And in my case, I have a pharmacist who comes in. You got it, asks the same questions, then finally the doctor. And I'm thinking, is there any way we could all just kind of get together in the room and have this discussion one time and you could all ask the same questions once? Any chance? No, they don't do it that way. They're far too busy. Now, for those of you who haven't seen my life playlist, I put all my videos in there that kind of reflect on things that are going on in my life. If you want to go back and watch them, you can. To make a long story short, I was diagnosed in 2009 with dilated cardiomyopathy. Now, the typical lifespan of somebody diagnosed with this problem is about 5 years, so I figure I'm doing pretty darn good because I've seen almost 10 years, but unfortunately it's getting to the point now where more radical treatment has to take place, and unfortunately the symptoms kind of crop up and they cause problems for me. The 2 major symptoms that I experience is chronic shortness of breath, kind of like, you know, running up a flight of stairs for you. So when I think of, hey, I need to get up and go get that cable or whatever to hook up to a camera, blah blah, it's kind of like saying to you, run up 6 flights of stairs, then pick up the cable. And everything you do involves having problems breathing. So everything you do would almost be like running up 6 flights of stairs. And I mean everything. I'm on a huge amount of medicine at this point. My heart has weakened. At this point now, it's so weak that unfortunately I actually got a blood clot that developed right inside my left ventricle because it wasn't pumping hard enough. So the answer to that was, you got it. More medicine. They threw 2 more pills at me. One is a blood thinner, and the other one's to make my stomach feel better because I'm on so many pills, which is kind of crazy, but what do you do? Many tests, many blood tests, and now they want me to go to something called cardiac therapy, which I am definitely up for. It's basically an aggressive therapy to see exactly what's going on with my heart. Now, when I say aggressive, I don't mean they're going to make me run up 6 flights of stairs, but they monitor my heart. They monitor vapor coming out, you know, CO2, all that stuff, electrophysiology. They have physicians and assistants and nurses on staff that are specially trained for this type of therapy. And it can help depending on whether or not the type of heart failure I have can get better with that type of therapy. And it's hard to say, but it's worth a try, so I'm going to do that. I've got a sleep study coming up to see if I have any problems with breathing, sleep apnea at night. And I'm hoping not, because the idea of having one of those CPAP machines, whatever they're called, just kind of completely turns me off. The idea of sleeping with one of those things I just can't stand. But you know what? If it would help preserve what's left of my heart, I would say, okay, why not? So one of the things that happened was I was referred to the University of Michigan, which is a premier cardiac hospital. And the cardiologist there, of course, has many tests that she wants to do. And one of the big things that she's challenged me with is losing weight. So I have to lose I want to say significant amount of weight. At least 50 pounds. I think she would like me to lose even more. Now, I have done this before, so it's not like it's impossible for me, but you know, mentally speaking, it's easy to be depressed. So comfort food is like one of those things. And when I say comfort food, it's not what you think. With my heart so weak, you know, anything upsets the apple cart. So if I have like a meal out to eat and it's relatively healthy, even say a Greek salad with grilled chicken on it, it can trigger a lot of weight gain, which is actually just water weight because my heart isn't pumping good enough, which makes physical anything that much more difficult, usually within a few hours and especially the next day. So I really have to be careful. And the last couple weeks I've been extremely careful once I learned that I would need to lose a significant amount of weight. The reason she wants me to lose that weight is so that I can become eligible for a heart transplant. So looking at what's happening with my heart now, I think I mentioned this in a previous video. They have a measure that they use for the overall health of a heart called ejection fraction. So basically what it means is any heart that's considered vital and healthy at 100% has an ejection fraction of 65% or higher. So it's when it squeezes, it pushes that blood out really hard, gets it out of the ventricles and the chambers and moves the blood through like it should. Now, over the years, mine slowly went down, but this year it took a major nosedive, and although the doctors didn't say so, I attribute it to the fall I had 1 year ago and the subsequent development of pulmonary emboli, which is basically blood clots in the lungs and throughout my leg, which I had to have a surgery on. My ejection fraction when I was diagnosed in 2009 was 55%, and after the surgery to get my internal cardiac device put in, which is a defibrillator and a pacemaker, my EF dropped to about 45. So by the time the treatment was there, the medicine and the device, I had lost about 10%. I managed to hang around there for years. Then it dropped to about 40 to 35. I didn't really notice a huge difference, but now it's 20 to 25%, and some are saying, some of the cardiologists are saying 15 to 20%. I am noticing it is distinctive, and it's a bummer because I still like to do stuff, but just the operation of doing something, you know, like, hey, I want to shoot a video. Well, I need to go around, turn my lights on, get my studio warmed up, get the computer turned on, adjust some settings, you know, move things around, close the window, get the dogs in, and so on and so forth. So, you know, there's no interruptions. Is daunting. I measure my energy for the day, you know, and we all do to some extent, you know, without even thinking about it. So I'm thinking, well, to set up my studio and do all that stuff, that's going to snip, you know, 30 to 40% of my day's energy. It's going to sap me. That's the second type of symptoms I get. So the first type is acute right then. I'm having problems breathing. And the second symptom I get is massive fatigue. And the way it feels basically is like I'm kind of slipping into a coma. I'm so tired, you know, my eyelids are just kind of closing of their own volition, and I have no choice but to go to sleep. And usually if I get a good sleep in, I actually feel pretty good the next day, provided, of course, I ate well, because if I don't, I gain a massive amount of water weight. I can literally gain 5 to 10 pounds of water weight in one day, and it sits in my belly and kind of seeps into my lungs, and it's like something's pressing against my chest. I just can't breathe. I can't do anything. And unfortunately, when the ejection fraction gets as low as it is, you begin becoming symptomatic even when you're sitting down. So one of the problems I have is I can't really breathe all that well even when I'm sitting, which is really a bummer. And I just deal, you know, because that's what we have to do, and it's just the way it is. But last week or two was rough, and I had so many doctor's appointments and so many visits and so many tests. I was just worn down, and that's why you didn't see me for the last couple of weeks, and I do apologize for that. But I am trying, and I'm still here. I got an okay from my cardiologist to now begin doing physical exercise again. While I had that blood clot, they wanted me to back off a little bit, but I've been given permission to go ahead and do stuff. So I've been trying to get some kind of sustained exercise in every single day. And the first couple days were interesting, and kind of, you know, like I said, that fatigue. For, you know, to give you an example, for you, it would be kind of like you did something out of the ordinary, you know, and like you built something like a deck or something really physical, and you were a little tired for a few days. Well, I go for a walk for 30 minutes, and I literally could not wake up the next day. I slept a good 10 hours or so, and I had to drag my butt out of bed. Now, part of that's all the medicine I'm on, but the other part is just that nasty fatigue feeling. But my body seems to be responding well, and now I'm walking, trying to do some type of exercise every single day, because not only the exercise, but the eating right part, I need to burn that weight off. And I ain't gonna lie, that's gonna be hard. Mainly because I've been using it as a crutch, you know, it's like, I'm just going to sit down and eat some really good food and have a nice cup of coffee. Now, don't worry, I'm not drinking 100% caffeinated, because my heart can't tolerate that at all. I actually dilute it 80-20 or so. 80% decaf, 20% caffeinated. And food is an issue. And it's always been with me, and you know, it's always been that way in my family. Ironically, if it wasn't food, it probably would be alcohol, because my dad was an alcoholic. So that metabolism to have, you know, alcohol, which are carbs, it's like, this is great stuff, you know, love this food. So I've leaned up, cut on the carbs, and I'm trying to eat well and get myself back on track and lose as much weight in anticipation of a possible transplant. So the way my ejection fraction is dropping, I think that I will be looking at a heart transplant in the future. I don't know when. It all depends. We never know. That's the thing. The therapies that they enact, like the cardiac therapy I'll be going to, the sleep study, new medicine, all these different things could delay needing a heart transplant, because you never really can have a heart as good as your own. And again, there's no guarantee I would be able to get a heart, because it's hard to come by. Anyway, Sorry for the long-winded video. Just wanted to let you know what was going on. As much fun as I've been having visiting the doctors, I'm really appreciating a slight lull here, and it kicks back in December. They usually want to see me every month or two, every 2 months. So they're definitely coming closer together now because, of course, my heart is in decline. So they're paying much more attention to what's going on. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you're still here, I appreciate that you have been checking out my videos. If you're a subscriber, I really appreciate that. Thank you again for the 10,000 subs, and I'll see you next time on Fast Gadgets. This video was made possible with support from viewers like you. If you find this video useful, consider becoming a patron for as little as $1 a month at patreon.com/fastgadgets.